All right, when it comes to buying an Onyx console, we know it can be a little confusing, especially if you come from outside of the Onyx world. So what we want to do here is just explain to you the different options there are in Onyx consoles and help you know how to find the right one for your needs. What we've got here is, here's all the Onyx devices at the time of this recording. And we're just going to talk about all the different types and what you need to know about choosing them. So the first thing with an Onyx console or PC setup is you need to look at the licensing and decide what licensing you need for your event, okay, or the type of events you do. If you go into Onyx, just so you're aware, the licensing is down here in the corner, and you can tap on it and it tells you what you get with any licensing that you have. There are a few main types of licensing that are really common. First, there's the free version. One universe out, no external triggers like MIDI or timecode, and it has to be universe 1. Okay, fairly restrictive, but at the same time, like, it's free. You pay nothing for it. So, you know, don't argue with that. Number 2, you get into Nova. Okay, so Nova is what happens on the lower level tiers. Okay, right now, at the time of this recording, Nova is what you get if you have a NX DMX connected, because it's not an encrypted device, unfortunately. And it's also, I believe, what you get with a Netron device. Actually, let's just pull up the chart. So we're going to go to support.obsidiancontrol.com. We're going to go ahead and we are going to look at the licensing page. So I'm just going to search. Okay. And the licensing page tells us that an NXDMX is a Nova, yeah, and Netron nodes are a Nova. So the biggest thing about a Nova, and why don't we just keep the chart up, is you get universes 1 through 4 unlocked, okay? You get 2 Dylos zones, but you do not get external triggers like MIDI, timecode, and OSC. So if you're wanting to sync it to external sources to have things like ProPresenter or Ableton Live, Fire Cues, not going to happen in Nova. For that, you need Nova Plus. Okay, so that's the next tier. Nova Plus is going to be a lot of your PC-centric hardware. Okay, so your Nova Plus is your NXP, your NXK. It's going to be the NX Touch. Those 3. Okay, still really generous. You get all the same output, those 4 universes, but you also get that external triggering, MIDI, timecode, etc. Next up is Live, okay? So Live is what the consoles and the keys for PC have. And so Live does a couple things for you. Live, which they call the Premier or Essential, tiers, okay, or Elite, is going to give you, for the most part, at least with Premier and Elite, you're going to get 5 Dylos zones, and that can be really helpful if you do a lot of pixel mapping. You're going to get lots of universes, either 64 or 128. That's Premier 64, 128 Elite, or 8 Essential. Essential only having those 2 zones, but your MIDI, your timecode, your OSC completely unlocked all the time with anything that says Live. So if it says Live 8, Live 64, or Live 128, that's exactly what you're going to get, everything unlocked. Okay, so that's kind of the first step in looking at the Onyx hardware and deciding what you want to buy. If you're on a tighter budget and you don't need a lot out of your console, then you might be able to do a PC with a Netron node or a PC with an NXDMX. Just know that you're not going to be able to send triggers from external programs. So not from QLab, not from any MIDI programs, any OSC, etc. So for most people, we recommend, if you're starting out on a PC, getting into this range. Okay, the Onyx NX Touch, NXP, and or NXK. You get the plus on the license, which means you can trigger it from external sources, and you also get a nice piece of hardware to work on. Okay, the biggest differences between the 3 of these are then going to be your DMX ports and also just what the feature set is, right? So the NXK is the most entry level, and we sell a lot of these here at Above AVL, Learn Stage Lighting Gear, because it's the cheapest way to unlock a Nova Plus license. You plug it in via USB, you get your 4 universes plus that timecode functionality, timecode, MIDI, OSC, you're ready to rock and roll. What you don't get is a DMX output port, so you're going to need something else. We always have lots of options of ArtNet nodes. That's usually your best bet, using some kind of ArtNet device. Okay. Next we have the NX Touch. That's next in price. And it has the force touch faders, which are kind of cool. It offers kind of programming and playback all in one, but overall is a cheaper look and feel to it. In the past 6 months or so, the NX Touch had a price increase for the first time like in years, okay, many years, and it's now fairly close in price to the NXP. I would go with the NXP. I mean, it's still half the price. But the NXP gives you a lot more because now you get 4 DMX ports out. The NX Touch just has 1. It's a full-fledged DMX port. So if we look at our screen here, it means that we have RDM on the onboard DMX port. Okay, it means that we have 4 of those DMX ports. Along with the RDM, you can use them for DMX input as well too. So the NXP, really handy. Yes, is it twice the price of the NX Touch? It is, but it used to be a greater differential between those two. Now let's talk about the consoles. When we get up to the consoles, you know, of course, you've got the keys, which give you output without hardware. You know, we honestly don't recommend those that much. There are some uses where that makes sense, where you just want a touch screen and you want to output lots of universes. Those can make sense, but a lot of times it honestly makes a lot more sense just to get one of the actual physical pieces of hardware that you can use to make your programming life easier. Okay, so next we've got the NX Wing, okay, the last PC wing. It has the same amount of output as an NX2, it's just on a PC. So then we have the consoles, okay? Sure, we can look and compare specs all day long, but here are my top recommendations. I like the NX1 and the NX4 by far the most because they both have motorized faders. With the NX1, there's a couple things you got to watch out for. The first is it's only unlocked for 8 universes and 2 Dylos zones for pixel mapping. So that if you're trying to max it out and really do a lot, you might find that you max that stuff out quickly and then you grow out of the NX1 before you intended to. The other is that the DPI on it, or the scaling on the displays, is a little larger than the others. So, especially in professional use, you might find you run out of space on the screen because all the items on the screen are a little bigger and it gives you a little bit less room. But still, it's a terrific value for what it is. When you look at the other consoles from other brands that are kind of in the same price range, it really kicks their butts. NX2, as we noted, is still a fine console when you need compact control and you need a lot of universes. It doesn't have motorized faders though, and I really like motorized faders. I think they make your life a lot easier. They help a lot. It does have 2 network ports, which can help for your setup, you know, when you want to have DMX streaming on one and just some control network on the other, which is an upgrade from the NX1 there. Okay, now, the NX4 is the granddaddy of the consoles right now, and it is a lovely desk. I've got one sitting behind me. It has 10 motorized faders. You can flip it to these buttons. They've got the LCD labels. You've got these faders here. And I always say, compare it to any other comparable console from any other brand, and it's either got way more features or is significantly less expensive than what they're offering. It's got a lot on board, but you can still pick it up by yourself thanks to the nice handles on the side. I definitely think like the NX1 and NX4 are the consoles that offer the most value. Like you get the most money for your dollar out of those two compared to the rest of the range. Other than that, of course, it's got 64 universes unlocked. It's got the nice big touchscreen. It has RGB LED lamps, the desk lamps. You can actually control them in your show file, which is cool. It also has the intensity control wheel here, the encoders on the screen, just like the NX2. There's a lot really packed into a small surface, and it's really, really cool. So the NX4, by far, kind of my favorites among the range when we talk about items from the Onyx range that I like. It's like the NX Key, you can't go wrong, and I think everyone that uses Onyx should own one because it pairs well with the Touch, it pairs well with the P, it pairs well definitely with the NX1. And even if you use an NX4, having an NXK with a laptop and you can go walk to stage, go focus lights from somewhere else, go adjust things from different perspectives. To me, the NXK is a no-brainer for like everybody. Okay, then the NX1 and the NX4 are the other two that I think are just the absolute best value of the range, where for what you pay, you just get so much more. Now, are these others bad? No. And in fact, everybody's situation is different. Sometimes you've got a church, they really care about playback more than programming. We'll do an NXP, right? You get your TV film people. They like NX2s a lot because it's compact and they don't really need motorized faders. So I'm not saying that these other pieces of hardware aren't good. Just for most of our customers, most of the people we work with, the NX1 and 4 and K are like our very top picks that we get the most out the door of. Okay, now if you watch this and you said, okay, that gives me a better idea what's going on, I want to buy, then hey, head over to Learn Stage Lighting Gear / Above AVL. That's us. We want to help you. So add stuff to your cart, okay, and then request from your cart. So say I just go and add an NX1 to my cart. And of course, we have to blur out the prices here just because they'll change over time. And you go to your cart, not what I just did, but you actually go to your cart, and then add your items to a quote request. Fill out that form and we'll add some free training for you, our premium training courses that help you get up to speed with Onyx fast, and we'll also quote out your personalized price. Not only that, we're going to answer any questions you have, so ask them, and we can help you find the best solution for your needs, not only with Onyx gear, but any other lighting you need. If that sounds good, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.